Get ready because it is Geek Battle time. So get ready, get freaky, get ready to get geeky as the music starts to fade out. And we welcome you to the show because we are live. Hello, hello. Everyone say a nice big hello.
What's up, dogs?
Hello.
Hello. So it is Geek Battle time. This is the strange blend of improv show meets geek podcast meets geek game show where we will work out who is this week's Geek of the Week. Now, I am David Postansky, and as always, we're going to start off with our introduction rounds where the rest of our panelists will give a random geek trivia fact in the quest for a bonus point, subjectively given by me. Andy, say hello to the people.
What's up, people? Speaking from New York City. Do you want me to give a geek battle or, a geek thing or?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what So I'm going to just pull out of left field that I did see the trailer and it looks great in my eyes to Aquaman 2. It's, what's his name looks amazing. And again, hopefully they don't screw it up, but it looks amazing. So I'm really looking forward to that Aquaman 2 later.
Okay, that definitely isn't a geek trivia fact, so I'm not going to give a point there. But that is going to come on to like anything we have seen that we want to talk about. And I may even tempt fate to play it on the stream because I have a new force field to make it so that, I won't be able to play the music. But I'm going to keep, like last week, I got demonetized for showing the Godzilla trailer. So
can I ask one thing? If that's possible? Well, maybe this is a geek trivia. I actually looked up the toilet stuff we were talking about last week about in Japan with all the different buttons that you guys have and all that. I mean, not you, but Japan has, and how it does the different things that one heats the seat or cools the seat down. One heats hot water to cold water and all that stuff. Pretty amazing. New York City, we just flush and we're done. But, that's...
It's amazing how many times I've discussed this on shows. Now, I can't say if it's the case in New York, but in places in America, you go into a public restroom and there is just like a gap that big at the side. And like literally you could just like see if anyone's in there. It's like that I'm not okay with. I think it was Florida. You go in and like the water level on the toilets was like, it was like a massive bowl of soup. Like we just have like these low water levels. It was just like a swimming pool. Like everywhere has funky toilets. Where was I? In Austria, their toilet was like a little shelf. And then it was the water. And it's like, why do you want a shelf in the toilet? Anyway, this is too much information. Right, Andy, I'm going to give you a point just because it feels like you earned it somewhere along the way there. Tim, say hello to the people and give us a random geek trivia fact.
Hello, people from Providence, Rhode Island. I'm Tim, and the big geek fact that I have is the Star Wars franchise is leading into a super extra galactic big baddie. I'm curious to see what's going to happen and how it's going to develop over the next 5 to 10 years. But I think that it's probably a strong thing to do since they're trying to still recover from the other sequel movies that were just kind of okay.
So is this something being established in Ashoka?
Yes. If without giving away too much, there are several hints that occur through a variety of series where it's like they're alluding to some reason why the Empire needs to exist, because you need a strong military buildup to prevent that super galactic baddie from taking over.
Yeah.
So there's it kind of goes along the lines of the expanded universe or Star Wars Legends, where the Yuuzhan Vong were the original extra galactic threat, but it was now treated that part of it was treated almost as like they were the Grisk in the most recent written Thrawn books. But I think that if Dave Filoni's smart, he's going to try and throw out like another bad guy from a different galaxy or something, and I think it'd be interesting to see that how that plays out and established.
Are they going to be Tyranids from Warhammer?
Right? Or space mushrooms. I mean orcs. That'd be pretty cool.
Weird sound effect we've got going on.
That is not me.
Okay, right. Okay, no, I think that's a good idea because obviously Star Wars had one of the all-time great villains in Darth Vader, and ever since then,
Sidious, don't forget Sidious.
Well, yes, but everyone thinks of Darth Vader, and although Darth Sidious is definitely a thing, I think a lot of like more casual people in their heads, they'd just go, they might say, oh yeah, the Emperor, or they're going to say Darth Maul without quite knowing the words Darth Maul, and then the prequels never really, like Kylo Ren, meh, like you know they had the whole, well, he killed your favorite character, but we're going to try to redeem him. It's like, who's the villain here? You know, so it had its own problems. Anyway, so I think if they can establish a new big bad, I think that would be a great route for Star Wars. Cap, say hello to the people.
What's up, dog? Sailing from the land of leopards, elephants, and crocodiles, and also weird Caliban lions, which are from Warhammer. My geek fact, because David rekindled my love for the Thundercats in the group chat, is that Thundercats actually have like Infinity Stones. Well, not exactly like the Infinity Stones, but the Eye of Thundera, you see Lionel wielding his sword, the tiger thing with an eye. That's actually the War Stone, the cosmic stone of war, I guess. It's never specified that it's like a big created in the Big Bang or anything like that. There's some cosmic stone that wields immense power. There are 4 of them, which I'm hoping this StreamYard. Come on. Okay, there's like the Soul Stone. They have a no.
If you hold it in front of you, it'll work.
Okay, let me see. And you see
okay,
them?
now just edge it forward. Okay, edge it forward. If anyone's just listening to the audio version of this, Cap is just no, and he's gone.
So there is the Spirit Stone, the Techno Stone, the other stone we never got to learn what it was because season 2 was canceled because of stupid Legos. But the War Stone is the stone that the cats actually have, that Lionel has, which is wielded in the sword. That's not actually the most powerful sword there is. Basically, they made the Sword of Omens out of a piece of crap from Mumra's bigger sword. But for some reason, because of Lionel's pure hardness or his spirit or something like that, he was able to harness more power than the bigger sword of Mumra, which goes to show that these stones have their mind of their own. And even though the War Stone is mainly meant for power and war and stuff like that, if you see the 80s show, that stone can do basically whatever it wants. It can fly up Lionel. It can shoot ice beams if you want to. It can rejuvenate the Thundercats. It can basically do anything. It's more like a reality-bending stone than a War Stone. But that means Lionel can kick Thanos' ass, okay?
But alas, they are in different universes, so we will never know.
It is a multiverse, though, so they might collide one day.
Okay, so here's the thing. When it comes to multiverses, like DC now have a multiverse, Marvel have a multiverse. I'm sure Thundercats do as well. Do these multiverses somehow...
Thundercats never actually went to a multiverse thing. They
yeah, okay, but Ninja Turtles did. Ninja Turtles did. Okay, definitely. Right. So various things have multiverses. Are they separate multiverses, or isn't the whole point of the multiverse that eventually it will have any of these?
If it pays enough money, they will have it all. But DC, Marvel, long way from it, but
Yeah.
long
Well,
day.
who knows? Who knows?
Right.
With James Gunn going over to DC, he might just be setting up this whole deal.
Although the test screenings for Aquaman saying that it's kind of jarring. People didn't like. There's a one scene, you know, the Flash's baby scene, right, which everyone hated. Apparently, there's something like that in Aquaman, which I mean, we don't know for sure. It's just the test screenings. People find it a little bit bad.
Okay, well, let's go straight to the screening of this. Now, I've created a new Geek Battle force field to hopefully make it so that we don't get copyright claims come up on the show. So let's first of all, I'm going to bring on the force field, Jom, like this. Now, when we add this
it's the Halo force field, David.
Now, hang on, look. And look, you can even see up here, it says Geek Battle force field. Hopefully when I play this, like, I don't know, how can they tell? How can they tell? So as long as there's no music, we should be able to see what's going on. So here we see Aquaman. Look, we're giving give commentary on this, guys. So we're seeing a house. It looks like a good house.
Look at the lighthouse. Oh, he's got a baby. Jason Momoa's got a baby.
It's not a CGI baby. It's not a CGI baby.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa's talking to Dad. They're drinking beers. Oh, look, there's this underwater.
The dad was in The Flash, wasn't he? It's like they just got like the lamest cameos.
What?
Yeah.
They had him?
Yeah.
What did he do?
Like next to nothing. He made a phone call.
This is fascinating. There's like parts of like we're underwater, and then all of a sudden he's an above water dad. Like, look at me, I'm a king underwater, and then I'm a stay-at-home dad.
Okay, so he wants to kill Aquaman.
Yeah, there's a bad guy.
Black Manta.
Okay.
That looks bad. Awesome.
Oh, look, I-beam lasers.
Look, James Wan, he usually when he does stuff, it's quite good, isn't it? So
yeah,
there's no reason to think this will be that bad. It's just
he wrote this. He wrote this?
He's directing. I don't know if he wrote it. Okay, I'm never quite sure. So who is this character?
No, he's not directing it. It's the first guy. The guy who did the first film is the one who's doing the second one.
Is that Chris Hemsworth? Wow.
Chris Hemsworth?
I don't know. I'm just kidding.
All right.
It's
okay, so who is this guy that's just turned up? Because wasn't he in Watchmen? Isn't that the guy from Watchmen? He's in loads of stuff, isn't he? We see that there. Like, you won't be able to tell as well, and that's kind of my fault for the force field. But I'm not going to take the force field down, because if I do it for a second, they'll probably still strike me.
I wonder if Master Chief...
Like, does it feel wrong that Aquaman is coming out at Christmas?
No.
I think so. No, why?
But it feels like, it's swimming. That's something you do in the summer. It just doesn't feel like, I want to be
not in
tropical weather.
Not in Aquaman's world. He's in there all year long.
Avatar came out in the Christmas, right?
What did?
Didn't Avatar come out near the Christmas time too?
The original, yes.
Like the way of water.
Okay, let's continue on. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so this guy, he looks more like Ant-Man than Ant-Man.
Damn.
He looks great.
But he has a crown now.
Okay, who is the dad there? Because I thought, who is that? Because I thought wasn't it like Dolph Lundgren, or am I completely Mandela affecting that? That was like the dad.
That's Mira's dad.
Oh, is that Mira's dad?
Yeah.
Is she in this one? Because there's the whole rumors.
I think Aquaman gave the trident to him to rule the seas while he raised his baby upstairs. Maybe something like that.
Amazing.
Wow, do you know what? Like, I don't know. I think Amber Heard is in this, but they completely haven't shown her on this trailer at all. Like, not once so far.
Not even a cameo?
Well, that was the thing, because this is where we got like spoilers of this film like a year ago with the whole Johnny Depp thing. She was saying that she was cut from the film. Oh no, that was Mira, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think.
Okay,
so.
let's see. Let's get the pause on this. Yeah, that's it. Blink and you miss it. Split second. Let's see if I can get it. Split second. Okay, and there you go. So she's probably locked up, and he needs to rescue her probably.
Yeah.
I think this looks
probably
good.
might break up. They might break up though.
Okay, I think that looks a good film.
It looks excellent.
Yeah. No, I'm genuinely I liked the first one. Like you didn't like the first one?
I like this.
It was completely chapter change.
It was what?
It was a completely chapter change from the Signers. I mean, like they're suddenly like, yeah, okay, a little bit more energy for me.
Do you know, I thought it was all right. It was. I've seen it twice. Like I wasn't offended over time. It's not one that I've gone back and I've watched Batman versus Superman like a bunch of times. I've watched. Now you didn't like that one, Andy?
Not at all.
I've watched Justice League, like even the original version, like 3 times. And I've watched the Snyder Cut in the year it's been out, probably 3 or 4 times. And that's a long film. Yeah. So, but like Aquaman didn't capture me as much as those, but I have seen it a couple of times.
Now I do
like Jason Momoa, so because of that, I might be because he's a friend of Henry Cavill. He's the only guy who replied.
Oh, hang on, wait a minute, we've got it. It's happened, and ta-da! Henry Cavill has been mentioned. It was going to happen at some point, and the moment has been prepared for this week. The moment has been prepared for.
I love the Henry Cavill from The Flash. That's
oh yeah, the god awful one.
Yeah, the heavily chiseled chest.
Yeah,
thank you.
Like Plastic Man. He looks like Plastic Man, to be honest.
I'd love to say that I've got a bunch of these prepared for different things, but that one took enough time on its own.
So, David, I just want to go a little off the side just for one question about your Geek Battle force field. Why is it behind the fence? Why is there a fence behind it? Just that it's force field. They usually don't have fences.
No, it like that is the force field because it's just basically like I don't know how all of this works with like the copyright recognizing it. Because if I'm not playing the sound, what is it copyright claiming? It Godzilla last week. Yeah, it's like so it must work like a thumbprint. So if I just have some stuff interrupting the thumbprint, I'm going to put on the force field again, and you tell me if you can tell what the force field actually is. Can you tell what the force field is? Because as you can see, it's different colors.
Right, not right now.
Any ideas? So if you're just listening to the audio version, the force field has got different colors. Cap, can you tell?
Red.
No ideas?
Red, blue.
Okay, I'll give you the clue. Where I'm pointing right there is the biggest clue. What do we see?
Red, blue. Olympics? It's the Olympics?
Red, blue. No, come on. It's the Justice League. It is literally a photo of the Justice League in the background. Like, it's really cool. I'll have to like screen cap it and show you guys later. But where I've got like the little thumbnail of the overlay, you can clearly see it's the Justice League. But when it's on top of like when it's made big, you can't barely tell what it is. But
so curiosity, I'm gonna ask this nerdy question now. For copyrights, like when I do the thing, because we've been muted in the past, the shows that we do monthly, and it's some types of music or what's what. If I put on a site and I lip sync it, would I get copyrighted?
Yeah, probably.
Audio,
yeah. So, but like, if you hear audio that you don't, if you play audio that you don't own, that you risk getting a copyright claim. Sometimes it doesn't come up straight away, and sometimes I get a copyright claim 3 months later.
Yeah, this is 2 years ago that I got from Facebook.
There you go. Yeah. So, like famously, I had footage from a film, and we lip synced to it, and the film was out of copyright. And then it turned out that the soundtrack was claimed they were still in copyright, and I got a copyright claim even though I didn't actually use the sound. So you have to be super careful. Hopefully, I won't get a copyright strike. At some point, I'll learn. But I might have to appeal one of these things just to say, well, we're doing it for review. We're reacting to stuff and so on and so forth. Because loads of channels do it, but I'm still learning.
Yeah, actually, I've heard like most channels, they would appeal it. And then after a week or later, the appeal would work. And they would just, post the video again. But here, sometimes what happens is that after it got appealed, they would copyright strike it again.
Yeah.
So you have to appeal for it again for 30
when
days.
I got the strike for the film that we lip synced to, I appealed it. I said, here are some articles from Wikipedia, from the BBC, from this and that, all which says how this has fallen into the public domain. But it was like no appeal. I couldn't write anything more, and that was just that. And I've got a strike on the channel.
That was Facebook.
No, that was YouTube, but
Oh.
Facebook I got demonetized on.
Yeah.
And it took me 6 months to work out why, and it was that same video, so I just deleted it off of there, and it solved things.
I know Facebook a lot of times they mute stuff from different parts of what's what, and they say different videos because of these Sony craps and all that stuff for copyrights. But like I checked the whole video and there's nothing with it. So, and they all come from years back, and you can't challenge it. It's like you can't YouTube, you can. They deleted one thing which Facebook didn't touch. Give it another year and a half, they'll come back and mess with it. But it's just mind-boggling where
you can negotiate with Zuckerberg.
Who am I talking to? It seems like I'm talking to myself. Nobody to respond to.
That's fascinating because, like, I've been I follow a couple of YouTube like fan and theory accounts, and there is a system where a third-party subcontractor can take money via the strike system or like the demonetization system from these like mid-tier creators who are turning this into their full-time job, and all of a sudden they're losing like a significant portion of their income and their revenue.
And the thing is that it doesn't even have to be a person who's employed, like making money off or something like. They can just be like, you know what, you copyrighted this. I think you copyrighted this, and then
I don't make a penny, right?
It's a really weird thing. So, like, say I've got this whole show, and at the beginning I played music. I have paid a license fee for that music in perpetuity, so I can use that forever. Yet all the time I get claims on it. And it'll come up, and like Facebook, it might say like 30 seconds are muted. But because of those 30 seconds, the whole video is demonetized. You know, and there's such barriers to get things monetized in the first place, so that it hasn't massively affected me, especially like the Geek Battle channel is new, the Slam Jam channel is new, there's spin-offs from the Extreme one. But it's like there's all of these hurdles that you have to be so careful. And the rules and like the terms of service change all of the time. So you just have to be super careful.
Okay.
Anyway,
do they let you know?
Sorry, what was that, Tim?
Do they let you know when they're changing the terms of service, or does it occur?
Do you know, like,
they do. They send you an email. They send you an email.
Well, when they do it already, though, it's not like they say, "Oh yeah, we're going to challenge this." Can you say no? They just delete.
They just send you.
Like,
These are the
I know some creators who have had problems where some rules have changed and it's affected things that weren't against the rules in the past. So it's a little bit of a minefield. So, but that's one of the reasons why I am using StreamYard, so that this show is on Extreme Improv and it's on Geek Battle at the same time. And so, like, just to build everything up, because if you put all of your eggs in one basket, then you risk losing them all at the same time.
You know what's funny? I don't want to continue with this if you guys don't want to, but I'm just curious because I got in deleted with Facebook by liking people's, like I put the love Geek Battle League. Then all of a sudden you're banned for 7 hours. I'm like, what the heck? Then I like another video, you're banned for 24 hours. And it's like, what the hell? I didn't even post anything. It's like, what the hell?
A bunch of stuff is going to be like that. Things happen automatically. I had a live show a few months ago, like 3 months ago, and I paid a lot of money for like advertising. And then the next day I was told I was banned for a week. And I was like, you can't ban me for like sharing about my show. I've just paid you like a fortune to promote this. And then when I
we decided still to ban you anyways. Style,
so I appealed it, and then I was just banned for 1 hour. And it's like, why 1 hour? There was no rhyme or reason to any of it. Like, it's something that I find super fascinating. And to be honest, this is probably the geekiest of geek stuff that we could discuss, getting into the behind the scenes of how being a content creator works. And I find it super fascinating. I'm cool to continue talking about it, but I will ask you, is there anything else you guys have seen that you want to react to? Yeah, Tim.
I finally watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I don't know if I talked about that.
I don't think
I saw episode 6 of Ahsoka, and they're both really, really decent. What was funny about Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was how many biblical references were in it, and I wonder how much that plays into like marketing to conservative markets in the United States that are, like the more religious communities, and also how connected with Chris Pratt it is too, because he's been perceived in the United States as having like a very high, being more conservative and anti-woke is what they call it in recent years.
That surely there's a bit of a contradiction though in the idea that they're making it a religious film when it's about like blue space aliens and trees.
And importantly, they actually, I mean, like, religious person, if you actually work into the philosophy of the films, they would not like it. I mean, basically, they made
like
God
instantly I know what Tim means, because there's like the whole thing with like Adam Warlock going like that. It's like that famous like Sistine Chapel painting and stuff like that.
And Noah's Ark.
Absolutely too.
Yeah, the Noah's Ark part. Oh. Even though like 15 minutes later you see the Guardians of the Galaxy like just ready to murder a whole, flock of hungry, angry dog alien-like things. Like, wait a minute. So like Noah's Ark saving these animals, and then all of a sudden there's like these aliens running towards this village, and like, yeah, we're gonna shoot them all. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, their reasoning was, I think, at the end of the film, they're like, they look so cute, and one character said, and Rocket says, like, yeah, but what about these people? They have no defenses. They always get back to that.
True.
Yeah.
But I would say the religious messaging will, I don't know, because like you have the high evolutionary simply yelling, there is no God, that's why I stepped up. You have these lines that are very contradicting to religious theologies and stuff like that. I'm not really sure theology. I mean, like, depends on the person, right? I mean, like.
But they automatically assumed that the researcher who is fighting that, who is like disagreeing with the high evolutionary, is like, but oh my God, what would, they make some comment about God, and then high evolutionary is like, there is no God, I am the creator. And then that's why
I stepped up.
Yeah. And then that's when shit goes down. I mean, that's when stuff goes down, because it's like, oh, you've like sort of either insulted the concept of God, or taken on, you had the ego to take on that, I guess, that role. So it was a little bit interesting to just like see how there's little bits like that, and does that actually fit into how you sell a movie to a populace?
It's weird. So, like I didn't find it all that religious for some. I mean, like even if you fill it in the religious way, again, it's art, so you can interpret it in different ways. And for me, like, it's all about the God complex and logical fallacies. I mean, that's the usual thing that we get with even religious things. That it's full of logical fallacies. So that's why most of the religious stuff tend to be stupid, because they can't pass that. So I thought it's a very beautiful way of pointing those things out. This is my interpretation. So, but again, different people can have different things.
And you're hitting it upon the right thing. It's like your interpretation. And we're in a book that's been written and rewritten and been around for thousands of years. Like any kind of sacred text, there are interpretations of what is written in modern efforts, and the will and bias of the person who's interpreting it. So it becomes a little bit difficult in that aspect. I will say, when I'm talking to people who are kind of on the other end of the political spectrum, they tend to be asking about aliens more so than I've heard my end. So it's like there is messaging in like Fox News and stuff like that, and even the government's coming out with like slight messaging about that, from what I understand. So it's possible that
all the physicists are angry now.
I don't know.
So, like, I've just gone on to Reddit and I've searched. Well, I've ended up on Reddit. I searched religious imagery in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and I have found this interesting thread about it. I've also worked out how to zoom on the web pages, which is good. But here we can see the specific thing where Adam Warlock goes in. But they're saying that there is a precedent for it in the comic where it will usually be stuff where Adam Warlock is learning how to be a good person and blah blah blah, and
He's
some
kind
sort
of
of like
he's
Yeah, go
kind of
on.
like the Amazo android from Justice League, isn't he, Tim? Like at the Adam Warlock. I mean, like not completely, but kind of like the android Amazo, where it's like he has like a lot of powers and he's trying to learn the ethics and stuff like that. But I don't think they fully fleshed that out. I think that the most
I didn't
they
like
got,
Adam Warlock in this film.
yeah, he was a
Well,
dude.
I don't know who the actor is. I know that he's in a bunch of stuff. I don't think I like him. Certainly
He
not
was
based on this.
he was in Narnia. He was in Where the Millers, which I actually liked him in
Okay.
Where the Millers. That was
He
funny.
was in Shameless for a while, I think.
Yeah. No, I didn't particularly like the character, and then when it just at the end, where he's like, "Oh, now he's one of the new
The good
Guardians with Rocket or whatever," I was like, "I don't dig this new team of Guardians here." It's like whoever they'd got. It's like there was so much about that ending. Like I thought it was one of the better MCU films in a while. There's
Yeah.
something about the ending where it's like Gamora was just off with Sylvester Stallone in space. Peter was just like on Earth with his granddad or whatever. And
Although the Gamora change there was not actually James Gunn's fault in that one, he actually wanted to, make them complete their character's journey. He didn't want planning on doing a revamp of them. But then Endgame happened, and then they told like, yeah, you're gonna have to make Gamora like in Endgame because like you can't change her in the movie because we probably have a series planned for a single series with Ravagers and stuff like that. So you're just gonna have have her a little bit of character development and then just pull it all back in the end and then make her her own thing so you don't mess our whole plan up. Which I didn't really like as well because Gamora was always the warmth of the team, which I really like in the first one, the second one. She's like the only moral person in that actual group in a sense. And I did find it hard because she's now completely unlikable, and they tend to do that more nowadays, which I don't like. They make characters mean for mean's sake.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on that? There's like one of the interesting things that we've spoken about recently is the fact that everything's kind of like on pause because of the writer's strike, but apparently it might be ending like either today or tomorrow. But that's if they come to a deal, which is up in the air. But this is the closest we've heard about the writer's strike coming to a deal. I'll see if I can find any of how they're resolving it. But the actors are still on strike, so it doesn't really change things there. But apparently the writer's strike might come to an end. So yes, it says here 16 hours ago, near agreement. So I'll see if I can find some of the details. But what's your reaction to if this ends? But then, of course, the actors' strike hasn't ended yet.
Did they get their deal right? The streaming services?
I'll see if I can find the. It says the two sides met and hoped to finalize a deal on Thursday. Sources said this is on CNBC.com. Let's see what else we got. After a face-to-face meeting today, writers and producers near agreement. So they haven't said any of the details. I don't think any of the details are out there yet.
I guess they're trying to get that done first before they deal with the actors, get them done with, because if you have actors but no scripts, you're kind of screwed. It's going to be all improv, and that's not going to exist in the script world.
But I think the writers are going to get a bad deal.
You think they're going to get a what deal?
I think they're going to get a bad deal. They're not going to get. Yeah. I because again, studios are more powerful than what they used to be. Also, with AI, basically, again, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, but I think that's what this whole fight is about, trying to fight so that if we don't fight now, they won't need us in 2 years' time because AI will be too good.
I think they'll still do it. I think the one thing they might do is that studios will have a heavily say on the AI writing, and then they would give it to writers to edit the script most likely. and they will again get half the pay. And also with the streaming thing, they might get a good deal, but again, the way the strike has been gone so long, and again, they don't have that much of public support, because that's what I've always been saying, is that they haven't really created a lot of stuff in the recent years that connect with the audience more. They don't have the people's back, which if they had, they would have easily gotten a better deal, because so far the things they have put up in, they have been bad. But it's not necessarily the writer's fault. It could mainly be the studio's fault. But what we see is that very poor writing in very recent stuff, and also writers and actors don't having good relationship with fans anymore.
Yeah, true. No, I completely agree. Like, there's been a lot of in squabbling between like fans and the people that make stuff. Like, fans have been super unhappy with a lot of things over like the last 3 or 4 years, and so yeah, they perhaps don't have as much support. But it's weird as well, because you think over the last few years, like, everything that Marvel was doing great kind of went downhill. DC have never really got things going super to plan. The sequels to Star Wars didn't hit the way people were happy with, and so it ended up where loads of really prominent things were kind of getting a negative reaction from the biggest fans, weirdly. So yeah, so the fans don't put them in the best position to get that support from that side. For how much that may be worth, I'm not sure.
See, what I don't get, sort of like with the scripting and all, I know like with the SAG Awards and, like the SAG people are separate from the non-union, but Murders in a Building, very famous, very great show, but it's on its 3rd season. But you have Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez, yet they did the 3rd season. Why is that if this the actors in it couldn't get its signature done yet? You know what I mean? Because they'll be SAG people, so why are they able
When did they film that? They probably must have had that in the can. They must have had that in the can. Like, they've been eking stuff out. Like, so I've been watching Quantum Leap recently, the new version, and I can give my thoughts on that in a minute if you guys have or haven't seen it. But they've just announced that like season 2 is going to be starting, and they've literally said that they're going to start airing it. But they've also acknowledged that they've filmed most of season 2, but not all of it. And it's because they're getting desperate that they don't have anything to show. So they need to have some new stuff to keep people, try to boost ratings and keep things up here and there where they can, just until things get into production again. But I think, like with that example, Murder in the Building, that must be something that they'd already got out. Because like we were saying last week, what was it? Beetlejuice 2 is a day and a half away from being finished, but they had to go on strike. So they literally, for like a day filming, they haven't got the whole film done. Cap.
Also, with the writer strike and the fan support thing, you can see this on YouTube happening to most creators if you're a little bit established. If they run into a financial crisis or anything like that, they will literally ask for fans' help. And they might get very generous donations, and they'll be able to, even improve on their channel as well. Again, this only happens because you have a community of people who is really dedicated to you, and they really do want to see you prosper. If this let's assume like this happened like in the early 2000s, where like Disney movies writers and they were the ones who were striking, not the people who wrote the remakes. They were the original writers were striking and stuff like that. I would say it would be a much harder thing for the studios to win, because the people are definitely going to be behind those creators who gave those classics. Right now, like even when everyone went on strike, how many people didn't unsubscribe from Disney Plus or anything like that? People didn't. Mainly because they might be not watching the new stuff. They might be watching the old stuff. They'll be like, yeah, who cares? I'm going to watch the original. I don't care if this writer gets it or anything like that. So I would say having a good relationship with fans always a must. And this has been the heavy decade of reboots and also adaptations of multiple things that have already been in the fandom. When you're doing that specifically, not creating original
Someone
stuff.
got like a rabbit that's like chewing a carrot in the background. Could you guys hear that?
I heard coffee.
It sounded like Bugs Bunny just like chewing a carrot in the background. Cap. No, go ahead. You were
That's
saying.
probably me. But yeah, my point is that again, you need to have like when you're adapting and rebooting stuff, you need the fans back. Otherwise, you're going to lose your audience. First case, and the new audience, if your stuff isn't good, they're not going to watch it.
Yeah.
But you see, kind of like what you were saying, and I could be 100% wrong, but they made it sound like, after the first season, they were in negotiation. Are they going to make a second season or not? And now they finally put out the third season, so it's on now. But they were acting like, will they have a third season? Will they not? Even though they make it like it's a continuation, but they were up in the air. So I wouldn't think it would already be signed, but you might be right. But it just made it seem like, like they were up.
I don't know the show. Where is it set?
It's actually based on New York City. It's based on 6th Street, and it's actually they've been filming 10 blocks away where I live at the main studio, which they do stuff. I don't know if the actors actually go there and they take scripts, but they're doing a big thing this weekend, which I wanted to see, but it's free. But the tickets are gone. I mean, but it's a great show. Like I'm talking about Murders in. Do any of you know this show? You may not.
I've seen like the first episode. Like it's on Disney, isn't it?
It's on Hulu.
So in the UK, it's on Disney. Yeah.
Okay, it's great show. All the episodes.
I like season 1 a lot. Season 2 was
yeah.
I love it, but yeah, it's.
Oh damn! I was going to make a point on something that Capita said a minute ago, and I really can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, you said about like reboots and stuff. So one thought I've got on that, like that you say it's been like a decade with a lot of reboots and that. You think about things. If there's you just listen to the audio version, I've got my hand going from left to right. So on the audio description from left to right, if this is our timeline and this is the beginning of time and this brings us up to the present. So we're like us being over here, like anything that's been made in the past, like back here, there wasn't any, they couldn't do a remake or a reboot because everything was a first idea. And then they get here and it's like, that idea from there, we could do that better. We'll give it another go. But now we're at the stage where they can do reboots of remakes of remakes of remakes again. So I think it's inevitable that this is going to like keep happening because the more things have been proven to be a success in the past, the more they'll be like, well, we've got to reboot Spider-Man again. We've got to just keep and like, especially with Spider-Man, where Sony have to keep making one every 3 years or something. Otherwise, they're going to lose the rights. But it's like, Planet of the Apes, we'll do a reboot of that. And they did the Tim Burton one and it didn't go super well. So they leave it a few years and they're like, what can we do? Well, let's bring back Planet of the Apes. And I think we're never going to get out of the cycle of remakes and reboots.
Perhaps we can look at it differently. Maybe we can say like, it would, because comic books are the same thing. The same story's been told by different artists in different ways. They rebooted DC with the New 52, and then that wasn't doing well. So I think, I don't know, I haven't followed it recently, but maybe we should just, I mean, if you were looking at things like we looked at the Bible, that story's been retold a bunch of different times, and
I love the remake of it. It's great.
Yeah, the remake was really good.
You had Buddy Christ.
Do you know what? Like literally, I wish I was a movie studio, and if this was our meeting, I'd be like, we should make that film. It should literally be called like the Bible rebooted, like this. And it's just like as if you've got like a comic book film, how you'd like have Tobey Maguire, and then you have Andrew Garfield, and it's a slightly different version of the same story. You could totally do that with a lot of these, like Moses or Noah and stuff like that. But instead of Noah's Ark, like it's now like Noah's submarine and stuff like this. And it's like instead of the world being flooded.
Isn't that 2012?
I don't know, to be honest.
Noah's submarine. They make a movie about the end of the world. 2012. The movie is literally.
Well, I know it's not a submarine, but like it should be like the Ark literally goes off into space. It's like so there's going to be like such bad conditions. It's like this is how you do it as a reboot. I don't know. Perhaps this is
Pandoran.
Yeah.
But that's the thing I would say also for the Disney thing. I mean, like instead of doing remakes, you can adopt thousands of fairy tales from other cultures. I mean, you only scratched the very surface of fairy tales. You have like a world of folklore you can just rip out new stuff with. But like, no, we're gonna do the remakes.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
think of how many different stories we haven't heard or learned about because of the dominance of one. Like, there's probably so many folk tales and legends and mythological stories, and stuff that's original too. You know,
Mm.
um,
Yeah.
that would be fascinating to, hopefully that stuff is still cataloged out there, and there might be some smarter studio executives who are like trying to find something that's fresh and new and not written on toilet paper. I don't know. Or you could just do the DC animated universe.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, like, I'm aware that we need to, like, now Nick isn't here. We're on a Thursday. It's not a Wednesday. It means we will have a different Geek of the Week this week. And Nick
So he
literally
was
did
stripped
ask.
of the title, right? He was stripped of the title.
No, it doesn't quite work like that. So technically, like Nick did ask, will my undefeated streak still count? And it's like technically he will be undefeated when he's here. So when Nick is back, then maybe
It's like what happened to John Jones.
Yeah, exactly. There'll be an interim champion, perhaps, or perhaps that's not fair on whoever's here, right? But okay, so let's play a game just to try and like I've been working on my Chat GPT skills. Speaking of AI, I'm not coming up with these questions ever again. Like the amount of hours I've spent coming up with questions, I will definitely, but I've gone to Chat GPT, and hopefully these will be some better questions. So. But fingers on the buzzers, basically. So give a wave and call out buzz. I've got here 25 superhero themed questions that increase in difficulty, and I have the answers. So I've got everything covered here. So we're going to start with the easy ones. So get ready to buzz in because these are going to go fast. What is the alter ego of Batman?
Buzz.
Andy.
Bruce Wayne.
Is the correct answer. Okay. What superhero has the ability to climb walls and shoot webs?
Buzz.
Andy.
Spider-Man.
Yes. On a roll here, Andy. Next question. What is the real name of the Man of Steel?
Buzz.
Tim.
Superman.
Is the correct answer. And let's see. Who is the genius, billionaire, inventor, and philanthropist in the Marvel Universe? Cap.
Buzz.
Tony Stark is the correct answer. Good. That was our easy round. Let's see what the moderate questions come up with. Okay. What is the name of the fictional city? Wow, this isn't hard. Where most of Batman's adventures take place? Andy.
Gotham City.
Is the correct answer. I hope they get more moderate than this because that wasn't very moderately hard. Okay. Who is the arch nemesis of the Flash and is known for his... Okay, Cap.
Reverse Flash?
Is the correct answer. Okay, let's see what we've got. I'm trying to add the points as we go along. What superhero is known for his signature red and blue costume with a lightning bolt emblem?
Buzz.
Cap.
Flash?
Is the correct answer.
I was going to say Shazam.
Where's blue in Flash?
Well, to be honest, how is it blue? When is it blue? It's red.
Exactly.
This is bullshit. Like Chat GPT. Right, okay, still. Okay. Which superhero team includes mutants?
Buzz.
Tim.
X-Men.
Is the correct answer. Okay, let's see. Do we have any more? Okay, what is the real name of the vigilante who is often referred to as the Punisher?
Buzz?
Cap.
Frank Castle?
Frank Castle is the correct answer. Ooh, that last one actually gave a moment's pause for thought there. So they were our moderate questions. Now we're going to go on to our difficult questions.
What software does Batman use on his Bat computer?
What software does Batman use on his what?
Bat computer.
Linux. Right, okay. What supervillain What supervillain is known for his obsession with riddles and puzzles?
Buzz.
Andy just
Riddler.
is correct. This isn't an expert question. Oh, Chat GPT. Right, okay, let's see what else we got. Oh my god. I'm going to adapt some of these questions just to try to make them a little bit trickier.
It's experts for 5-year-olds. That's what it is.
Okay. What is the name of the hammer wielded by Thor?
Buzz.
Tim.
Mjolnir.
Is the correct answer. Literally, the way it asked it is, who is the Norse god of thunder that carries Mjolnir? It's like Thor. Jesus. Right, okay. From what substance is Captain America's shield made?
Buzz.
Oh, Tim, just.
Vibranium.
Is the correct answer. And let's see, next up. Which superhero is a brilliant detective and often... Oh, Cap.
Batman.
Is the incorrect answer. I will say that you're frozen out of this question. I will give the full answer for the remaining people. Which superhero is a brilliant detective and often partners with Green Arrow in solving crimes? Oh.
Buzz.
Okay, Tim.
The question?
No, it's not the correct answer. Andy? Andy first.
The Flash?
Is not the correct answer. Capital Faith, you won't get the point, but give us the answer.
Black Canary.
Is the correct answer. Oh, okay. So you took a chance there by coming in early, but I won't give you the point. Okay, the last of the difficult questions. Oh, man, this is so... Okay. Actually, okay. I will give 2 points to this. What is the name of the artificial intelligence system that assists Tony Stark and becomes...
Buzz.
Okay, Cap was first.
Jarvis.
Yes, the second part of the question, I'll give you a chance to answer. What does Jarvis stand for? Cap, can you answer?
I didn't even know it's an acronym.
What? Okay. Tim.
Janky ass robotic voice in servopositive motors.
I almost want to give a bonus point because that was so creative. I'm going to. Bonus point there, Tim.
That's what it is. It's janky ass robotic.
Okay. Andy, do you know what Jarvis stands for?
Just amazingly reversed videos.
You got one of the words correct. It is just a rather very intelligent system. How about that? But now, guys,
Tony.
Wait for it. We've done the difficult questions. Now we are on to the expert questions. What superhero is known as the... Oh my god, this is so easy. As the Sorcerer Supreme? Cap.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, these are bullshit questions. Right, next up. Let me just read it a second. Okay. I don't know how to make this more difficult, so I'll just go with it. Who is the mutant with the ability to manipulate and control metal?
Buzz.
Tim.
Magneto.
Yeah.
How is that difficult?
It's not at all difficult. No, this is expert, not difficult. Okay.
I was shocked at that question.
None of these are getting easier, I'm not going to lie. Okay. Which superhero team advocates for peaceful coexistence between humans and mutants?
Buzz.
Tim.
X-Men.
Is the correct answer. Okay, and you wouldn't believe I had to rephrase that to make it more challenging. In the DC universe, oh my goodness. Right, let's just see. What is the name? I'm just going to make up a question based on this. What is the name of the item one of the Justice League uses
Buzz.
to... Okay, Tim?
Green Lantern.
No. Good stab in the dark. What is the name of the item one of the Justice League uses to get the correct answers from people? I don't know how else. Okay, well, you've already answered, Tim. Cap.
The last one too.
Is the correct answer. Literally, it was just what's the team that's Batman and Wonder Woman are in. So I had to make it up there. Okay, I know these are too easy.
Tell Jeff ChatGPT to make it harder.
Which superhero was trained by the League of Assassins?
Buzz.
Capthave.
Batman.
Is the correct answer. Now, they were the expert questions. This is the final round. These are the master level questions. What is the name of the sentient cosmic entity in the Marvel universe that represents the embodiment of death? Ooh.
Buzz.
I wouldn't have known this. Okay, Tim.
Death.
It's not the answer. Can you elaborate on that? It's not.
What?
Well, I think that Thanos one time fell in love with death, and that.
Okay, hang on. I'll see what else we get. I might give you a point.
Okay.
Lady Death or Hela?
You're closer again. It's still not the answer on the card.
Buzz?
Andy.
Multi-sexual person. That's the...
No. Okay. I feel inclined to. The answer I've been given here, and you might be able to fill me in a bit more because I wouldn't have known this, is Mistress Death.
Oh,
so is correct. Lady Death is somewhat correct, but I don't know. What? Be honest. Do you deserve the points, guys?
I mean, give it to Tim.
Okay.
You just said death, technically, that means death.
Fair play. Death was there, but Mistress Death is what we're looking for. I don't know. I think
native name, Marvel.
Okay. Geez, it gets easier again. What is the substance that coats the skeleton of Wolverine? Cap.
Adamantium.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to get these questions prepared in advance next time. Which superhero possesses the power cosmic and serves as a cosmic protector in the Marvel universe? The power cosmic.
I don't
Buzz.
Doctor Strange
is not the answer. Tim.
I'd say Adam Warlock.
It's not the answer. Capelthave, down to you.
Is it Captain Marvel? I would hate it if it was.
Oh, is not the answer. Finally, they've come up with a master question. Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer is what the answer we're looking for.
But he has not appeared in the cinematic universe, right? He only appeared in the Fantastic one.
I didn't say no. I just said the Marvel universe.
It's the power cosmic, but he gets it from
Galactus.
The purple head guy. Yeah, Galactus.
Galactus, who's yes.
Okay. Let's see. 2 more questions. In fact, let's check what the points are doing. Okay, it's still all to play for. Which supervillain is considered the arch enemy of the Fantastic Four?
Buzz.
Andy.
Holy crap, Doctor Doom.
Is the correct answer.
It's Doom, Andy, Doom.
In the DC Comics storyline, The Killing Joke, what is the real name of the character who becomes the Joker?
The comedian. What's his name?
Buzz.
Yeah, Tim.
Charles Xavier.
Is not the answer.
All right.
Screw it.
I know it was a stand-up comic. That's all I know.
Andy?
It's going to be the wrong answer, but I'm going to say Heath Ledger, baby.
No, it's not the correct answer.
Arthur something.
I can't quite give it based on that. Now, I'll be honest. I was about to ask a follow-up question of, could you tell me the name of any Joker? But the answer ChatGPT gives me is, the Joker's real name is never definitively revealed, adding to his enigmatic nature. Now, I know the answer of 2 Jokers off the top of my head. The one that you were going for, Arthur, And that is the Joker as played by whom?
Jack Nicholson?
No, Joaquin
wait.
Phoenix.
Oh,
Joaquin
okay.
Phoenix played a Joker whose name was Arthur. If any of you can give me the full name, then I'll give you a point. 5, 4.
Arthur Fleck?
Arthur Fleck is the correct answer. Arthur Fleck
Really?
is the
Good
correct
job,
answer.
Cap.
Yeah. Okay. For a bonus point, can anyone tell me the name of the Joker as played by Jack Nicholson? I'm just going to double check this.
Ready?
Yeah, it is what I thought. Do you guys know? 5, 4,
Frankie.
3, 2, 1. What did you say, Cap?
Frankie?
No, it's not Frankie. It's Jack Napier. Jack Napier.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Now we aren't quite at the end of the show yet. So, but I always feel like we end up forgetting to have the points. Capelthave, you're ever so slightly in the lead. Now I don't know if we'll have more questions or what we'll do to decide this. I might ask like a guessing game question in a minute. But okay, is there anything else you guys want to react to? Anything else you guys have seen or anything like this?
Episode 6 of Ahsoka is even better than episode 5, even though episode 5 has my favorite soundtrack song.
Ooh.
Okay. I don't mind the spoilers. I've seen some stuff like if Cap, Andy, do you mind any spoilers for this? So I gather that we had Darth Vader, we had Hayden Christensen or whatever back in the show and stuff like this, and they made him, from what I gather, did a better job at making him look younger than they did in Obi-Wan.
Yeah. The technology is getting better. I have to say they're called night troopers, not stormtroopers.
Ooh,
and
okay.
I'm really curious about Enoch's story, who he's like the captain of the night troopers. So yeah, it's just the aesthetic of the whole series is escalating, and I'm enjoying almost each character. Baylan Skull has a unique take on his, what the Jedi are in the future, and yeah, it's I'm looking forward to seeing more of it.
I mean, is the Luke in the stories?
Luke is not in the story,
No.
which that would be nice to see him have sort of a role in it, but or in the next couple of seasons if Ahsoka comes out.
I think they can only do that if they retcon the sequels. Otherwise, we all know what he does in the sequel. So the only way they can do it is to retcon it and then to say that no, that didn't happen. He joined up with Ahsoka and did another thing than the other thing they did in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, let me just ask you on this. What would you guys think of like the persistent rumor that Sebastian Stan, who was Bucky, would take over playing the role of Luke Skywalker?
I think it'd be fun.
I think, like, I'm going to bring up, because I can now bring up the images, like, full screen and stuff. I'm going to show you guys this, just because it's insane how much he looks like him.
Wow.
So they've basically just photoshopped Luke Skywalker's hair onto Bucky's face, and it's insane how much they're pretty much the same person.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
That's wow.
Yeah, like, if they're going to recast an actor, that is the absolute way to do that.
That would be so great. I think if they do that, they would retcon the sequels, which I'm all for.
But aren't they making a new film about Rey?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what Disney gonna do. I'm not really even sure what Disney state's going to be. They mostly thinking about selling off most stuff. So, who
Is that happening? We spoke about that rumor before about that they might have to sell off stuff. I think Disney can recover. I think if they had to sell off Star Wars back to George Lucas,
I don't think they would sell them back to him. I think
that was the rumor a few weeks ago.
Either Apple would absorb some of their stuff. The tech companies would maybe sculpt out some of those stuff. But I don't think any studio is gonna buy Disney out. I mean, like the only studio that has the amount of money to buy Disney out is Disney, and if they're scrounging for money, it has to be a tech company.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
But again, I'd be happy if Disney sells off other stuff like Marvel or Star Wars and all that the baggage, and just does Disney animated movies again. They were so good at it that I would be happy if that happened. They focused on cartoon shows. They've been focused on cartoons like Mickey and the whole gang. Make new princess movies. Even delve into like fantasy stuff. Like in the old days, they like Black Cauldron, new kind of adventure fantasy stuff they were investing into, which was pretty dark. Even if you look at Fantasia, they had like Disney's lore is still deep enough to go more fantasy and stuff like that. And I think they would have a little bit of lee room they can focus on if they don't have that much superheroes and Star Wars attached to them.
Yeah.
They would make buck. I mean, like even the film, what the Pixar's film that did bad in theaters, actually it was a success. I read somewhere about like what's the film's name?
Or the Pixar film, Elemental.
Yeah, that one turned out to be a secret success. Mainly the streamings was good, and also probably the DVD sales. I think they were pretty good for that film. So I'm guessing animated stuff still works.
Yeah, could be. Okay, guys, very quickly, something I've seen this week, and I put it in the title of the show, and I haven't mentioned it. I always do this. I put things in the title of the show because I want people to look these things up and talk about it. So literally going on to streaming today was the most recent Evil Dead film, Evil Dead Rise. Have any of you seen it? Guys, I'll tell you, if I don't know if you like that kind of film, don't bother. It was terrible.
Really?
Yeah, I looked up and the reviews of it were like really good, and it was like, wow, this was originally going to be straight to streaming, but because the audience reception to it was good, they put it out at the cinema. I watched it and there's almost no plot whatsoever. If you've seen the previous Evil Dead film that came out about 2010, 2013 or something, it is the exact same thing, but just devoid of the plot. They find the Book of the Dead, it turns someone evil, the other characters spend the rest of the time trying to survive. That's the entire plot. And there are so many janky moments, and the special effects don't even look that good. I'm sure I'll read somewhere that they did a lot of practical stuff, but like the editing to me was terrible. I'll give you this tiny spoiler because it sums up how bad everything was. A character gets stabbed in the hand, and then the bad character starts attacking another character, and instead of going over and helping the character who's about to be attacked, you see the character taping up their hand like with gaffer tape or something. And it's like, you wouldn't do it in that order. You'd help your friend first, and then you wouldn't be like, well, I've got to tape this up because otherwise I can't help them. You'd help them first. Like everything happened slightly in the wrong.
I'm a hand model. I gotta take care of my business first.
See, it depends on the individual. Some people are greedy; they'll take care of themselves. Others,
but like, okay, so say it was the four of us, and say one of us has turned evil. Okay, so Capelthave has turned evil, and like Andy, right? You know, Capelthave has stabbed you in the hand. Now, at the moment, it's 3 against 1, 3 of us against Capelthave. And you've been stabbed in the hand, but now Capelthave has jumped onto me and he's going to get me. And like Tim's trying to help. Now, are you just going to be like, well, it looks like he's about to kill David as well. And I'm already injured, but I better take care of this before you're going to end up losing the numbers game before like you've even got over there. It was just a bad film. Bad film. And no Bruce Campbell. That's no spoiler. He announced that he's retired from it. But it's
that's what I was going to ask. Is there like a Bruce Campbell person in this film at all?
No, like he fair play to him. He announced after Ash versus the Evil Dead that he was retiring from the role. But it feels like they're turning it into like Saw. Like if you've seen the Saw films, eventually it's like, well, Jigsaw was dying in the first one. How can they keep him in it? So they're like, well, now it's his disciples doing the exact same thing, and now it's a different killer or Scream. It's like they're on the Scream 6, And they actually have a scene in that where they say about, well, there's been 10 different ghost face killers. It's like, well, who keeps doing this? Why? And in this one, it's just like, well, who's going to find the Book of the Dead this time? And they're going to have a very similar experience.
Not again.
Yeah, exactly. It's honestly like that, but it was bad.
It's like Jumanji.
Sorry, what's that, Cap?
It's like Jumanji. You find the game, and then that's actually a cool premise. I mean, so you can have various scenarios.
At least in Jumanji, they might go there and they might be like, okay, so like in the first one, they had to play the game. The second one, and like I guess the third one, I can't remember it, but like they were sucked into the game and they had to try to escape it. Whereas this, it's like someone's going to turn evil. They're going to try to kill their friends, and some of them aren't going to make it. It was the exact same plot.
I mean, like, if you were to make it interesting, right? Instead of like having normal wannabes suddenly turning evil because of the Book of the Dead, what if like the Book of the Dead finds itself in a gangster mob place?
Yeah.
And all of it, and even weirder, what if like the book finds itself in like a Shaolin temple with monks who are all like trained to be, self-discipline, stuff like that?
Cap, I think that's a really great idea. So you put it with like completely different kinds, instead of just being a group of friends or a family, put it with someone. So imagine if gangsters with guns were suddenly up against like the Evil Dead. That'd be interesting. It'd change it up, Tim.
They did that with Dracula on the slave ship, I think, or the colonial ship. There's a movie that came out recently where it's like
Demeter.
Last Voyage of the Demeter or something. It's like that would be cool. It's like what characters would do, in a situation with this, like.
Although that was taken directly from the book, like in Bram Stoker's Dracula, Dracula does use a boat to travel to England.
Oh wow! Okay, I haven't read the book, so
yeah.
I haven't read it either, but I know the footnotes.
It's really interesting. Like I've said this before, but I saw this interview with Christopher Lee, and he said, and this was probably in the 90s, he said the only way he'd ever play Dracula again is if they did a faithful adaptation. And he said, because it's never been done.
Yep. So far, you don't have word for word a faithful adaptation to the book Dracula, because I think that mainly we fell in love with the character Dracula more. Most of the Dracula stuff were more like letters, mystery-solving letters, people just deciphering through letters to figure out Dracula's occasion and going and just stabbing and killing him. It's more about the detective story than same with Frankenstein. I'm not really sure about old movies, but like the new Frankenstein films, they never actually adapted the real Frankenstein book. Yeah. Never did a word for word adaptation. So the classic monsters, you can still do stuff with it.
Yeah, well, like the thing that was such a shame is the Dark Universe, which was Universal. That never came to be. I don't know if I can bring up the thing very quickly.
Dracula Untold was so good. It's not faithful, but it was so good. I really enjoyed it. I hated the Tom Cruise's Mummy, but Dracula Untold was pretty awesome.
Okay, let's see if I can show you guys this. So once again, I'm going to zoom in on it, because this is just one of these amazing photos that exists that never actually ended up meaning anything. So here we see the cast of the Dark Universe. And so we see Russell Crowe, Tom Cruise, Johnny Depp. I can't remember who she is, and I forget that guy's name. But it was like they're going to do...
Where's Luke Evans? Luke Evans, he was Dracula. Yeah, he was Dracula.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Let's see if
his film was the first.
If you say so. No, that was look. See, Javier Bardem.
Javier Bardem.
Yeah, there you go. That's who that is. Right, but anyway, so they made the Mummy, and you did get a cameo from Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, played by Russell Crowe. But then, like the Invisible Man, I think was going to be Johnny Depp, and then whoever Javier Bardem was going to play, or maybe
he's Van Helsing.
I can't remember, to be honest. But it's just like they did this group photo, and then they did one film, and then they cancelled all of them.
They did two films. They did Dracula Untold. That was the first one.
Okay, I'll take your word. I've never seen that one.
Yeah. They did that. They announced the Dark Universe. They did a cameo in the Mummy film with vampire skulls. hinting Luke Evans is Dracula, and he's also in the modern day with.
Yeah.
There's the guy who played the Game of Thrones, the Lannisters, like the Lannister head, the British guy who played the Lannister old guy. He was like the Dracula's puppet master in a sense. Again, it would have been so awesome if we actually had that. But the problem was Tom Cruise's mummy ruined it. They should have just gotten Brendan Fraser again.
Okay, guys. So just because we're going to run out of time, we've got 10 minutes until Extreme Improv Extremes. But let's see if we can get a definitive Geek of the Week this week. So let's do the guessing game. So what I'm going to do is I'll give you a minute and you'll ask me as many yes/no questions. Andy, what would you like to try to guess?
A fictional movie. You know what? Fictional movie.
A fictional movie. So no documentaries here. Right. Okay. And here you go.
You ready?
Yeah, go.
Is it in the 80s?
Yes.
In the 70s?
No.
Okay, so just the 80s. Okay. Michael J. Fox in it?
No.
Is it sci-fi?
No, it wouldn't be counted as that.
Is it fantasy?
It has an element of that, but again, it's not what people would think of it as.
Was Billy Idol in it?
I have no idea. I doubt it.
Has there been more than one movie?
Yes.
Has there been more than two movies?
Yes.
Okay. Is it a phenomenal movie, like rating-wise?
Rating-wise, I don't know. Yeah, probably.
Is it a cult
Yeah, people liked it. People liked it.
Holy crapper! Is it? Is there any music to it?
Yeah. Okay, but that is time. Tim, over to you.
Does it take place on Earth?
Yes.
Is the protagonist a male?
Yes.
Is it a single protagonist?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Do they spend a lot of time in front of a computer?
No.
Is it a superhero movie?
No.
Does it involve someone's day off?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's not Ferris Bueller, if that's what you mean.
It's just a title, mostly. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Does it... does it have a single bad guy in it?
I don't really remember it well enough. It might have. It's probably got a bad guy somewhere. It's not super. It's not really about the bad guy.
Okay. Is it more of like a coming of age movie?
No, I don't think so. Oh, that is time. Cap, over to you.
Is it The Last Action Hero?
No.
Is it a John Hughes film?
No. Who?
Like the guy who did Ferris Bueller, Breakfast Club,
No.
Home Alone? No. Is it a kids movie?
Not really.
Is
It's not
it
a kids movie, but it's not a kids movie.
Is it a teen movie?
No, again, it's kind of for everyone.
Okay, it's a family film. Is it animated?
No.
Ah, shit. Does it have like well-known stars from the 80s?
Yes.
Does it have the action stars of the 80s?
Yeah.
Does it have Sylvester Stallone?
No.
Does it have Jackie Chan?
No.
Rob Van Dam?
No. Rob Van Dam?
Rob Van Dam.
No.
Yeah. John-Claude Van Damme.
No.
Arnold?
No. Oh, that is fine. I'll tell you. It was Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. So, yeah. Okay, Tim, what would you like to try and guess?
Movie, please.
Okay, go.
Is it 90s?
No.
Is it 2000s?
No.
Is it 2010s?
No.
Is it 2020s?
No.
Is it 70s?
No.
Is it 80s?
Yes.
Is it sci-fi?
No.
Is it fantasy?
Someone might be able to say it is in certain ways, but that's not what it would be counted as.
Is the protagonist male?
Yes.
Are there bad guys in the movie?
Yes.
Was it a coming of age film?
No.
Was it about someone's day off?
No.
Okay. Does it have does it have Michael J. Fox in it?
No.
Okay.
And Cap, handing over to you.
Is it a okay? Is it urban fantasy?
No, I didn't say it was fantasy. Like you might be able to get an element of that, but it's not really fantasy.
Is it a kids film?
Yes.
Oh, is it animated?
Partly.
Is it Roger Rabbit?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Nice
it is.
job.
Okay. So, Cap, what would you like to guess?
Fictional character.
Fictional character. And okay, go.
Is it a superhero?
No.
Is it a fantasy genre character?
Not really. No.
Is it a sci-fi character?
Yeah, but sometimes people might not say that, but yeah, more than not.
Okay. Does this character feature in movies?
Yes.
Live action?
Yes.
Is it Back to the Future?
No.
Yeah. Did the movies come out in the 2000s?
Yes. Some of them did.
Some of it. So it started in the 90s.
No.
Oh. So some of it came out in the 2000s. So does it go after 2010s?
Yeah.
Does it have a well-known star? Stars.
Yeah. It's a character, remember.
Is it?
That's time.
Damn it!
Andy, over to you.
Is it in the 80s,
Yes.
70s,
Yes.
60s?
No.
Ooh, I know.
Action.
Yes, it's a character, remember.
It's a fictional character.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, crapper. Okay, is it Indiana Jones?
No.
Is Arnold Schwarzenegger in any of them?
No. It's a character, remember.
Character. Okay. Is it a female character?
No.
Is it an old male character?
Yes.
Bruce Willis.
No.
Okay.
Yes, he is a character.
Morgan. Okay. Well, yeah, it's fictional. Holy mackerel. Is it a funny character?
That is time. Tim, over to you.
Does this character ever take a day off?
No.
Okay. Are they good?
Yes.
They're a good character. Okay. Have they always been old in their iterations?
No, not always old.
Okay. So and they span from the 70s to the 2020s.
Just about, yeah.
Are they in a comic book?
No, probably, but not. That's not where they started.
They're not well known in a comic book. Did they start in TV?
No.
Did they start on paper?
A script.
They started on a script. Did they start on the big screen?
Yes.
Is it Doctor Who?
No.
Is it Captain Kirk?
No.
Is it Scott Bakula in Quantum
No,
Leap?
I'm afraid not. That is time. I'll tell you, it was Obi-Wan Kenobi, guys. Obi-Wan.
Oh, damn.
Right. So, okay, let's find out where we can find everyone on social media very quickly because I need to skip over to the other stream. Andy, where can the people find you?
Shortcut, you can always go to Facebook, Improv at its best improv shows, classes around the world. And I'm on different things, but you could follow me on there. I'm the one that runs that.
Fab. Tim.
I'm on Instagram, potato-based economy, and also right here.
Awesome stuff. Cap.
You can find me on Sundays where I sing, I dance, I throw myself in a bucket, and I work with puppets. And recently there's a video short called Who is Wolverine's Actual True Love? It's not Jean Grey, it's not Storm, it's actually a silly secret. You can go watch it, and if you don't laugh at it, comment why you didn't laugh, okay?
Okay, my name is David Pisansky. You can find me on everything at Extreme Improv, Geek Battle, and David Pisansky. So until next time, stay safe, always stay extreme, live long and prosper, and ciao for now. Boom. And we are off the air. Oh, sorry. Hang on. Cap, I forgot to announce. You are this week's Geek of the Week.
Nice job, Cap.
Thank you.
Bro, that's pretty cool.
It is quite cool, but I've made it too big and it covers Cap up.
Wait,
Right, so
why am I
Or
going?
preference.
Yeah, totally. But anyway, I'm working on stuff. Right. Bye, everyone.
I'm gonna go close
Bye.
the Spider-Man.